not have to say anything to Matt just because Darren got it all out, or?
No, look, I talked with Matt obviously at halftime, and then we talked on Sunday night. And I told him I was really proud of how he responded. He came back and executed in the second half, and he performed the way he should have, and that was really a big deal for us. And so we've moved on to that. He had a good practice day where he hit the ball yesterday, and no different than last week when we talked about it. Super excited, about Matt and what he's capable of doing, and he's going to have a great game this week for us.
Did you guys know there was going to be like something there that that the leap would work the way that they blocked it or something? Was that something that you guys kind of had like tucked away?
Yeah, we did. It was funny because at halftime the guys were like, "Coach, when are we going to run it? What are we saving it for?" I said, "We're saving it for the right time." And especially Bryan, he wanted to get a chance to run it. But it's like every phase, offense, defense, special teams. You try to find things on film that expose weaknesses or things that you can take advantage of, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't work. And fortunately for us, those guys executed and did a great job.
How hard is it to stay patient though? Like, when you have something like that you want to use, like how hard is it to kind of keep it in the bag until the end of the game?
I think it's easier for me than it is for the players who are getting to go execute it, But when the timing is right and throughout that game, every point matters, obviously, right? So you want to get a chance to block them whenever you can. But I didn't feel that the time was right just as of yet to do it. But we kind of knew if it's ever where the game was on the line or we really needed one, that's kind of how we go about it.
Is that also like a once in a you only have one chance to do it because once it's on film, like teams know what's coming? Or?
No, I don't think so. Look, since I've been here, I bet you that's probably about the 8th to 10th time that we've done that. It's just the first one that we were able to get a block off of it, But there's been, and we've had multiple players here that have been the jumper for us that have done that. So it's it's really it's an execution and it's a setup, right? If we're doing a great job throughout the game or putting it on film for a couple weeks in a row of those guys inside doing the dirty work and hitting that guard and knocking them back and you kind of get it to where they kind of get tired of getting knocked back and they want to try to stay lower and not allow that to happen. So no, I don't think so. I think if the opportunity presents itself, we'll be able to use it again at some point this season.
Probably a dumb question, but are you not in some different form or fashion trying to block every kick? Like, is there an alternate to trying to block one? Because
No, well, you're trying to block every kick. Yeah. So your statement is correct. Yes, in the way that you go about doing it, there's different calls. So, like sometimes if they're in a 4th and short situation, or it may be a fake situation. Okay, well, we may be rushing the inside guys who are trying to block it, but the other guys are playing more of a man-to-man concept. Yeah. Or sometimes you see our corners come off the edge and dive and lay out and try to block it, and other times they don't. If we're if there's a thought that, hey, they may run a fake or the holder may keep it and go wide or something like that, well, then you're not going to have those guys dive and lay out. They're going to be up there for contained for it.
Yeah. So obviously you don't want to be predictable, but
right.
I know with the difference between punt block and punt return is pretty cut and dry.
There's much. It's different. There's much more of it's really. But if you look at it, if you just look at the edges when you watch a game, you'll kind of know if a team was a little bit more conservative as far as just the corner and the safety going to block it, or are they coming up the field and playing more of a fake.
I know obviously you probably wouldn't have attempted like 60-yarder if it wasn't for the situation, but he starts 19 of 20 and then I think now he's missed 3 of 4 or whatever. And is there anything in him, operation, or is it just that's how kicking works?
I think that's how kicking works. Look, the 60-yarder, he hit the ball a little low. He was trying to drive it in the wind. I don't even count that as a miss. It is what it is. The other one in the game, I think that when we go back and we watch the film and you just watch where his plant foot was in location with the ball and then his line, I expect him to make that one, and he does too. And so that one that one we missed, he should have made, but the 60-yarder I'm not concerned about.
But nothing that needs to be corrected.
No, I think
they don't make them all.
Sometimes you don't make them all, and it's kind of, he's his biggest critic of himself anyway, and so he went and we hit field goals yesterday and he had a perfect day. He didn't miss one yesterday. And that's kind of been his routine each week. And so it's of no concern for us. And, people always ask, or you try to communicate and talk like, I don't play golf, but do any of you guys play golf?
Sure.
And do you ever shank at one?
Never.
Okay.
Never
so
have.
I hear people talk about that they do. And so, it's really, and the ball's laying on the tee and you're standing there and you get to hit it, right? Well, there's a whole lot of other things that go into kicking a field goal, and sometimes you just don't make it. The snap, the hold, the spot, the protection. There's all kind of things, so not concerned about it. He'll be fine.
What have you thought about his overall body of work? I mean, he's a guy you guys obviously put a lot of faith in.
Yeah.
Trading Will Lutz.
I've been very pleased with his body of work of where he's been at, and his work ethic, and the results, like you said. I'm very happy with where he is, and I think one of the other things, he's done a very good job really on our kickoffs as well. I mean, we're trying to put the ball in play, right? We want teams to have to return it, but you don't want them returning it and catching it at the 5, 10, 12 yard line, because now they have a big advantage. You're trying to get it right on the goal line, 1 yard line. There's been a handful this season that have been a half a yard to a yard deep in the end zone, and teams have chose to keep that in. And for us, that's a really good kick. That's where we want to make them return it from, because you don't want to give the returner that much space to start with.
Awesome.
All good?
Thanks.
All right, thanks, guys.